When watching movies, it is often easy for viewers to forget about the music, but music plays a critical role in how a film portrays its message. Many of the iconic films wouldn't be what they are without their soundtracks. Think of movies such as Jaws, Braveheart, and Jurassic Park, or movie series like Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. Whenever I hear the names of these movies, I can't help but hear their iconic themes in my head. I believe it's important to study film music not only because it's something we can easily take for granted, but also because it connects to concepts we've previously learned. In this vignette, I will go over the origins of film scoring, as well as highlight the connection of film scoring to the concept of leitmotif. Throughout the course of 313 and 314, we learned about examples of incidental music. To serve as a reminder of what incidental music is, here is a general definition from the Encyclopedia Britannica. I've also listed some earlier examples of incidental music, and as you can see through these examples, music used to enhance non-musical mediums was not a new concept with the rise of film scoring. The first score written specifically for a film was composed by Camille Saint-Saëns. It was for a 15-minute historical drama called The Assassination of the Duke of Guise. Notice the dramatic change in dynamics, tempo, and instrumentation when the assassination takes place. Without the music, the assassination would not have been as striking to audiences watching this in theaters. Besides enhancing the film, music also had a practical function, which was to mask the noise of the projector. During the silent film era, there were often live instrumentalists playing along with a movie, whether it be a pianist/organist improvising or a small ensemble. While Saint-Saëns was the first to compose the music for a film scene by scene, the first composer to compose a film score frame by frame was Erik Satie. According to a journal article titled Satie's Entr'acte, a model of film music, Douglas Gaillet contends, Satie's neutral approach to music offers a model solution to problems in sound film, particularly those concerned with continuity, background for dialogue, and propulsion of action. The score is also exemplary because it enabled the audience to experience cinema as a fusion of image and sound, in which neither element was salient. The music was not convergent or divergent accompaniment to the images, but an element which combined with them in a perceptual mixture, following the principles of collage. Let's listen to a little bit of it right now. Again, the title is Entr'acte, and it was a Dadaist film from 1924. What strikes me about this example is how well we can see the elements of Satie's neutral approach to composition. Notice how his composition style doesn't draw too much attention to the music. The music seems to fit right in with a scene of cars and bicycles going down the street in slow motion. Similarly, the music is at a slow tempo, and the underlying constant stream of frequencies engender a hazy feeling of time moving in slow motion. Satie's film scoring techniques, syncing the music to specific frames, using a neutral approach in the music, and developing the concept of rhythmic structure served as a model for future film scores. While we don't have time to cover the history of film scoring in detail, I do want to briefly connect elements of film scoring to a compositional technique we learned about earlier, and that is the idea of leitmotif. We previously discussed this when we learned about Wagner, and as a reminder, leitmotifs are musical phrases associated with a specific idea, situation, or person. The use of leitmotifs were prominent in film scoring throughout the 20th century. One of the most iconic examples of this is in Bernard Herrmann's collaboration with Alfred Hitchcock in the 1960 film Psycho. Notice how the repetitive screeches on the violins mimic the stabbing sounds of the knife, and the pitches are high enough to sound like screams. This iconic leitmotif then became associated with sinister individuals, so much so that it was even featured over 40 years later in the 2003 movie Finding Nemo, in the scene with Darla, a fish killer. Let's take a brief look at this example.
Just calm down, Nemo. You won't go belly up, I promise. You're gonna be okay.
And with that, we wrap up our discussion about film scoring. Here are the works cited used for this presentation. In summary, we went over the origins of film scoring through incidental music, as well as two composers, Saint-Saëns, who composed the first score specifically written for a film, and Satie, who developed a model for film scoring. Then we connected the compositional technique of leitmotif and viewed examples in the movies Psycho and Finding Nemo. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for a great semester.